Welcome to Brandworking TV. In this episode of Brandworking TV, we'll be talking about the Me Too movement and what were they thinking. Our very special guest Luke Amery will be sharing with us the Gunbaroo mindset. I'll be giving you a brandworking tip on what most authors miss and the breaking news in the Weekly Rocket. So welcome to Brandworking TV with your host Lauren Clemett from the Ultimate Business Propeller. So what were they thinking this week? Well, it seems Bill Cosby has been convicted of the sexual abuse of up to 60 women. He follows Roman Polanski and Harvey Weinstein in being dismissed from the Academy of Motion Pictures, and so they should. But what does this mean for the Me Too movement? Well, ladies, I believe it's about us. It's not about the men. The Me Too movement is all about the way that we think about ourselves, the access that we allow men to our bodies and our lives in exchange for that job, that promotion, that movie role, that opportunity. The Me Too movement, to me, is all about the time for women to say no. Imagine if all of those women who had been sexually abused over those years, and I don't know what they were thinking, but these guys thought they could get away with it because women weren't supporting women. We weren't believing and assisting and helping and enabling each other to say no. Don't treat your body like a currency. It can't be exchanged for fame, for wealth, for glory, or just for getting ahead in life. Come on, ladies, the Me Too movement, it's got to be less about the men and more about us. It's time for women to make a stand and say no if they think they're going to be abused. So I don't know what these guys were thinking. They thought they'd get away with it for years, and they did. But now at long last, they're seeing the repercussions of their actions. Don't know what they were thinking, but it certainly got us talking. So hi everybody, Lauren here from the Ultimate Business Propeller on Brandworking TV, and I'm here with the awesome Luke Amery, and we're going to be talking about his brand Gunbaroo and his awesome new book that has just launched, which is very exciting. It's lovely to have you here, Luke.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Now tell me, Gunbaroo, what does Gunbaroo mean?
Yeah, well, Gunbaroo mindset, or Gunbaroo, is actually a Japanese philosophy. And it dates back, early 1700s, and it really means it's tenacity. Yeah. And it's how the Japanese live their own life, and what they put into their daily tasks, business, family, things like that. And
why Japanese? What's Japanese got to do with your? Because you're obviously not Japanese.
No.
What's that got to do with your brand?
Well, yeah, good point, right? Good question, and I feel that it sort of relates to my martial arts background. I started training 99, sort of 1999, or no, even probably earlier. No,
wow.
Right, yeah. So when I was a little kid, and it's sort of, I've always had an interest in that category and that their way that they live their life and their philosophy. Yeah.
And I believe you're a black belt.
That's right, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had to travel for your final test. Tell us how that went.
Yeah, look, I had to train for a good 8 months prior to actually. The task was I was given to actually train prior to actually going to Japan and actually meeting one of the head leaders over there. Not head leaders, but the masters. Yeah. And train with them, and actually sort of show myself and see if I could prove myself, right? Yeah. And actually do that for a little while, and then come back and actually do a full 3-4 day training session in Sydney. And
the task, you were tested not just when you're in Japan, but the whole
time
journey, how you conducted yourself on the plane and so on.
Everything. So literally from even prior to 8 months, like even prior to that grading, it was constant. My etiquette, my training was showing up, was doing my best. My katas, my kicks, my performance, pretty much. And then I wasn't told that actually until I actually graded. I said, well, this is just actually my wife knew before I did, and she didn't tell me, right? So Yeah, so I didn't know, but which was good.
Awesome.
Good. Yeah.
So I guess that relates to the way you conduct your life, the way you conduct yourself and your attitude towards showing up for a start.
Yeah, totally.
And the way that you treat other people and your outlook on life. So, so Gunbaru, the brand that means tenacity, the Japanese way of living, having tenacity, doing your best regardless of what life throws at you.
Totally right.
So when we created that brand, that also came out of your story and your incredible journey and battle and championing yourself over brain cancer as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And when I first heard the opportunity with the brand name, it didn't resonate with me at the time. But I was like, Gunbaru, what is that? And then I think it took a little while to actually resonate and sink in and actually look behind the scenes in regards to what it means, what the philosophy is. But my brain cancer journey, my health journey that I call, was a dynamic shift.
Absolutely. So you were working in the mining industry, and you got quite ill.
Yeah, I did.
And that's when they discovered that you had a tumour.
That's right.
And what your battle with brain cancer? I mean, obviously it's very heartfelt. There's lots of people who might even be watching this who've either struggled with that cancer themselves or they know someone who has.
Yeah.
It took many years, didn't it? It wasn't just something that was, look, go and get a bit of treatment. And how many years were you really coming to grips with that and having operations and so on?
Well, it took from diagnosis, which was on the 1st of January, New Year's Day. So it took, with operations and chemo, radiation, and meningitis and things like that, it took about, probably 9 months just on that, and then recovery 3 years. Yeah. 3 years at least. I'm just getting back in my form now.
Wow.
Really just now.
Wow. Yeah. And as you said in your book, and when we were writing your book together, you said, it's interesting, everybody thinks that, look, you have a life, and then you have cancer, and then you go back to that life. And it's not the case, is it?
No, definitely not, because it totally flips your world on a dime. Any health journey, heart attack, stroke, strokes can happen even when you're asleep and you wake up and you're paralysed half on the side of your body.
Wow. And you don't go back. There's no normal. We talked about that in the book. No. There's no such thing as normal anymore.
No, there's not. There's not. And not for me. When my doctors said to me, Luke, you cannot go back to the role that you were in. You just cannot do it, you know. Which is being a bonnet for me. I don't like being told what to do.
What you can't do.
Right, so, so I had to listen.
It's that tenacity, isn't it?
Yeah,
that
it really is.
You'll just keep going.
It really is.
So obviously you couldn't go back to the mining industry. Right. So you've now used your journey with brain cancer and the amazing way, I watched your journey as you went through that process and your positive attitude. Every time we contacted you, you were always incredible. Often I read your text messages and things and I thought, he's so positive for a guy who's like in this situation. He's incredibly positive.
I know.
I'm sure there were ups and downs, and it goes through that story in your book, which is awesome. But what are you doing now with Gunbaru? What is Gunbaru?
Yeah, well, look, I'm actually on the speaking circuit now, and I'm truly grateful for that. And just sharing, taking ownership of my story, and just sharing with, with an audience around the world and in Australia as well. But just sharing my true story. My mission now is to wake people up.
Awesome.
Really is, because life is so damn short. We just need to wake up. I need to wake people up. That's my mission.
Stop sleeping through life. Brilliant. And have that tenacity. When there's that saying, isn't there? The same wind blows on us all.
Oh, totally.
It's just the way that you set your sails.
Yes.
Yeah? So, and I guess that's Gunbaru, that's tenacity. It doesn't matter. Life is going to throw stuff at us. It's your attitude towards it that matters.
Oh, bang on. Yeah. So
you're helping people with their mindset at this stage, with how do you deal with things in life? How do you have that positive mindset? How do you have tenacity? Just push through and do your best.
Yes.
And
no
that's
matter
what you're
what.
doing? Awesome.
No matter what. And, just changing your philosophy and your daily DMOs and what you do. Do you work harder on yourself?
Yeah.
That's,
Brilliant. So Gunbaru, it's fabulous to have you here, Luke. Thank you so much. All the best with your book. I can't wait to read it now that we've seen it. Writing it together was an absolute blast.
It was awesome.
But seeing it, we were talking before what it felt like when it got delivered to your house.
It was great. It was great. And, it was a bit of a sometimes you get those moments where you go, wow, look, I've put myself out there and not listen to the naysayers, right? Like, and then you see it, and you've got to take a moment and go, wow, look, I've put myself out there now. I'm trying to say is that, you just got to trust the universe. And when things like this happen, 250 books landed on my doorstep. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, I've got to do this now.
Yeah, it's become real.
It's become real.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it has been awesome to see your journey, to see your brand
and
your story becoming real and sharing it with so many people. It's just awesome. Thank you for joining me, Luke.
Thank you so much.
I hope you're inspired by that, and you can certainly get hold of a copy of Luke's book, Gunbarrow Mindset, Do Your Best, and we'll share a web address with you shortly. Hi and welcome to the Weekly Rocket, your news for the week with your brand building opportunities. So first up in the Weekly Rocket this week is Desmore Media. Now the lovely Desmore has a studio based in Brisbane. So if you are a business in southeast Queensland or you're visiting the city and you have a feel-good story, something to inspire others, Desmore would love to hear from you. She's looking for uplifting lifestyle, business and well-being stories, and you do need to be in the studio. Now the best thing about being interviewed by Desmore for her amazing feel-good podcast is that you get that experience of being in a studio. You get the sweaty palms and a little bit of tension and anxiety, but she is an awesome interviewer. She makes you feel at ease, and she does an amazing professional job of creating a very, very good and feel-good podcast. So uplifting lifestyle, business and well-being stories. If that's you, please contact Desmore. It's in the Weekly Rocket this week. Next, guest bloggers wanted. Now, this is for event and conference managers. If you have anything to do with running, managing or organising events, there is a registration site, an event registration site that is looking for expert content, and they want you to write some blog articles for them. So if you are in the events industry, here's a way of getting your brand out there on the PIACTIC, I think it's called, event registration website. They're looking for your content. So please get onto that one and be a guest blogger. Next one, expert comment wanted by personal trainers. Now this is a lifestyle blogger who's looking to interview personal trainers about how to keep fit during winter. Want to make sure that you give your best tips, insight and expert ideas. If you're a personal trainer, someone in the wellbeing, fitness, nutrition industry even, get hold of them to give them your expert comment on how to stay fit during winter, how you'll drag yourself out on a cold morning to get out and keep fit. Obviously it's an Australian or a Southern Hemisphere based blog, that one, because in the Northern Hemisphere at this time of year everyone's starting to get out there because it's spring. So next one, expert comment wanted in the Weekly Rocket, life coaches. Are you a life coach? There's another lifestyle blogger and they're looking to put some content in their blog regarding how to make better decisions. Why do people hold themselves back and get all overwhelmed and tangled up when they try and make decisions? He wants some expert comment from this lifestyle blog from life coaches. So please jump on that if you're a life coach, they want your comment. Next, Biz Cover. This is the Biz Witty magazine. Again, they want expert comment, this time from women in IT. If you are working in the IT industry, they want to know, why did you choose to do that? What drove you to do it? What challenges are you overcoming? What is it like being a woman in IT? They want your comment. Next one, Soar Collective. Now, they are looking for expert content in the business, tech, wellbeing, lifestyle and travel industries. They have an amazing blog. It's followed by thousands of incredible people all over Australia and in the States, and they are looking to give you an opportunity to share your expert tips and insight in a blog. So business, tech, wellbeing, lifestyle and travel. If that's your gig, if that's what you're all about and you want to be the go-to expert, here's an opportunity for you to write that blog. Next one, travel gadgets. This is a feature article, so it's a journalist looking to write about your favourite travel gadgets. That might be a bag, an entertainment system, a book, clothing or wellness product, or something else that you can suggest as a travel expert or somebody who does adventure travel or travels a lot. What is your super cool favourite travel gadget? Please get hold of that journalist. They want your comment. This is perfect for travel agents to talk about your favourite gadgets. And last, in the Weekly Rocket this week is another podcast opportunity to be a guest. Now, this is the lovely Tracy Hall. She does an amazing podcast called Ethical Direct Selling, and she wants to talk to photographers, insurance brokers, bookkeepers, accountants, image consultants, and mindset coaches. Amazing. There's so many of you in the Weekly Rocket. A huge opportunity for you to talk about ethical direct selling. Are you conducting your business ethically? Can you give some tips, some insights, some tools to help other people do the same? So photographers, insurance brokers, bookkeepers, accountants, image consultants and mindset coaches, your opportunity to be interviewed on Tracy Hall's Direct Selling Ethical podcast. So that's it for the Weekly Rocket this week. Please make sure that you have subscribed to the Weekly Rocket so you never miss a brand working opportunity to get your brand out there and rocket launch you, your brand and your business. It comes out every Wednesday. When you do get your Weekly Rocket, please make sure it goes into your folder in your email, not into the deep depths of your spam folder, because these are deadline-based opportunities to get your brand out there. Often journalists are working right on deadline and they want to hear from you. So make sure when you subscribe, you put your Weekly Rocket into a box in your email that you see and you never miss an opportunity to build your brand. So there you go, guys. You've got amazing gifts and talents to share with the world. Make sure you subscribe and get that Weekly Rocket, because you do deserve to be well known, well paid and wanted. Let's rocket launch your brand. Hi guys, so here's your personal branding tip for the day. Have you written a book? Now I know there's a lot of people who follow this channel who are authors. Now I've got my book here, and today I was given the most amazing copy of Luke's book. You might have seen his interview on the show. Now here's the tip for you. Whenever I sign my book, and I always make sure I have a hard copy to give out whenever I'm speaking or going to events, but when I sign my book, and normally I open it up on this first page, when you print it, make sure you have a blank page at the start so you can sign it. So the idea with this is you want someone to remember what it was like when they met you, but you want them to remember a specific thing about you and your brand, because yes, they're buying your book and they're very excited, but they're going to go home, stick it on the shelf with all the other books, and they might forget about your personal brand. So here's a wee tip, a personal branding tip. First of all, blank page in the book when you print it, but on here, dear Joan, John, Sydney, whatever your name is, Smith, dear person you've met. And then after that, have a tagline. If you've got a tagline in your business, something that you always can say to people, that you write over and over again in your book, because it reinforces your brand message. So I tend to write mine, hi, dear John, you are your brand. It's really quick for me to write. It doesn't need to be long, especially if I've got to cure people at events. You don't want it to be a long thing, but you are your brand is what I write in my book. And then I sign it with my name. You can put a little smiley face or a heart or whatever it is, but be really personal with this in terms of how you write it. But come up with a phrase that you can write in the front of your book that you do constantly to remind people and inspire them to remember you for what you want them to know you for the most. So there's my tip for the week. When you write in your book, and I know the lovely Luke signed his, and he said on the bottom, do your best. And that's what he's all about, being tenacious, do your best. It's his tagline. So he's following my personal branding lessons to the T. Well done, Luke. But there's my tip for today. If you do have a book and you are doing book signings, 1, make sure you have a nice clean page at the start when you print it, and 2, come up with a tagline or a phrase, or it could even be your business tagline, but something personal that reminds people about you. So there's my personal branding tip for the day. Thanks for watching. Well, that's nearly it for Brandworking TV, but before you go, let's play Name That Brand. Now, if you're looking at the brand in front of you, you're seeing something that you might not have seen before. You probably know the brand, but you don't quite understand it because it's in a different language. Now, that doesn't matter to the brain. It sees brands in pictures, it remembers them with emotion, the colours, the shapes, the logos. It doesn't need the language to understand the brand. So, you might remember this brand and you might know it in your country as Walls. Now some of you, that'll be a bit surprising because it's known as Walls in the UK and a couple of other European countries, but it's also known in different languages all around the world. And this is an interesting brand. It's owned by Unilever, which is one of the largest ice cream manufacturers in the world. And they've decided to keep the logo the same, but change the name of the brand depending on where you are in the world and which language you speak. So in Spain, it's Frigo. There's all sorts of different languages that have this brand. Where I live in Australia and in New Zealand, it's called Streets. So if when I first showed you that brand, your brain went, that's not what I remember, That's why. This is a brand which is a little bit unusual. They've got about 49 different variations to their brand because they choose to change the name of the brand based on the language you use and the country that you're in. But guess what? Your brain knew it was ice cream. So there you go, there's Name That Brand for this Brand Working TV episode. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and please remember to get yourself out there and become the go-to expert. You have the most amazing gifts and talents that the world needs, and you do deserve to be well known, well paid and wanted. Let's rocket launch your brand.